Hello, it is sunny today, and that's making everybody feel better, I hope. We are working on the second part of the workbook pages that we had started last week. When we finish that, then we're going to move into a third grade fraction review again, because the next few days are going to be covering the same concept, both from third grade and from fourth grade. So we'll finish up our workbook pages and then move into that. Tomorrow we may have a shortened math class because we have guidance, just letting you know. So moving into our workbook, we're finishing up with page 85. Again, we're looking at fractions greater than 1, or another, what most of the public calls these are improper fractions, although there is nothing improper about them. We need to have a review because it's been a few days since we've been in school. So please raise your hand. When we look at this number, did you notice I called the fraction a number? Even though there is a fraction bar in it with a number on the top and the number on the bottom, it is one number because it represents one place on a number line. Looking at our numbers, the 10 has a specific name and the 4 has a specific name. What is the 10's name?
10.
Besides it being 10. If it's a fraction, it's called something when we talk about the 10. Besides it being the top number. Grace? Oh, she stopped. David? Good try. Starts with an N. Okay, a bunch of people are all saying numerator now. And I have a chart on our board. It is over by Will and Jared. And it says a numerator tells us how many. It's how many you're going to get.
10.
And then what is this 4 called? It's over there, people. What's it called? Denominator. And the denominator tells the size. In other words, the denominator tells you the size of the pieces you will get. The larger the denominator, the smaller the size. So I just happen to have a blank piece of paper here, and let's pretend that this is like a pan of brownies. Just to help you remember, because you haven't had school for 3 days, 4 days. So this is the whole unit if it's uncut. Luke's looking at it saying pan of brownies. I'll take the whole thing. Yep, he's shaking his head yes. He agrees with that. Oh, Jacob says no, he wants some. So now Jacob gets this much. Luke gets that much. Notice that we went from one whole unit. We used to have this. It was one whole unit, and Luke got all of it. Now it got broken into half. So now Luke gets half, and Jacob gets half. Oh, let's see. Looking around the classroom, and Will's going to jump in on this party too. Okay, so now Will wants some. So we're dividing it again. But Will's pretty nice, and since Jared's on Will's table, Will's going to share. So Will's going to get this piece. Jared's getting this piece. Luke's getting this piece, and Jacob's getting this piece. Jacob, what happened to your piece? Did it get smaller?
No.
So this one got broken into this. And this one got broken into that. Are you seeing that the larger the number, the smaller the pieces? Because see, Jacob is still only getting one piece. But now his piece isn't as big. Luke is still only getting one piece. But his piece really got a lot smaller, didn't it? So that's what we're talking about when we see numerators and denominators. Numerators tell you how many you're going to get. And in this case, Jacob gets one piece. He used to have a half. But then as our denominators increase in size, it's telling us that your pieces are getting smaller, because we used to have one whole piece that Luke got. Then it was 2 pieces. Luke got one, Jacob got one. Then it went to 4 pieces where Luke gets one, Jacob gets one, Will gets one, and Jared gets one. And we could keep going. So there was our quick review. Here it's telling us we have how many pieces? We have 10. What's the size of each piece? So it's telling us how many pans of brownies we have. Do we have more than one pan of brownies? At least. So this takes a while. It's hard to understand. For those of you that have a book out, please put the books away. Okay. So what we're looking at, if we're going to line this whole thing up, we have to have a whole unit divided in fourths, correct?
Yeah.
So we can pull our fourth pieces out or we can draw a picture. It's up to you guys. Remember what your fourth pieces look like?
Picture.
They're yellow. And now it's to the point where you don't even have enough of them to draw your picture. So I'm just going to put these back because it's just becoming a mess. Remember I told you last week when we made these, we'll use them a little bit, but after a while we just stop using them because we can draw pictures. So looking at this number, what did I do? Look at that picture up there. What did I do? Akaya. Yeah, so I have a 1/4 and a 1/4 and a 1/4 and a 1/4. But do I have, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. Do I have 10 fourths yet? No. I gotta draw it again. I would suggest you be drawing this as well, for those of you who don't have a pencil in your hand. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I still won't have enough. Okay, it tells me I have to have 10. I got to make 10. So I drew my picture. Remember on top, our directions are telling us that we need to change our fraction into a mixed number. What do I do? It's still a fraction. It's a fraction greater than 1. What do you think I should do looking at what we have up here? What do we know about all those fractions? Do any of them make a whole pan of brownies?
No.
How many whole pans of brownies do we have there?
10.
Oh, Safira just said something like this. There's 1. What should I do, Safira? Should I do that again? Okay, so yep, she's right. Safira's real close to me, but she's doesn't say anything very loud. So I have 1 whole unit and I have another whole unit. And I can call this what? Because there's my last part. 1/4 and 1/4. So I have 1 plus 1 is 2, and 1/4 and 2/4. Is there another way that I can write the fraction 2/4? Brooklyn? 1/2. It also equals 2 and 1/2. There are people that are writing this down, and it looks like there's going to be people that are going to be writing this down at lunch because they're not done yet. Okay, moving on to this page. I've got a few people that they're going to have to do some work at lunch because they didn't do it during class. We're going to have the pencils. I'm going to take the pencils. Okay, fractions and mixed numbers. On this page it says Solve the problem and show your thinking with numbers, words, or labeled sketches, and use your fraction pieces to help if you want. That's what it says right here. If your answer turns out to be an improper fraction, like this, rename it as a mixed number. It's telling you that if it looks like this, it can't stay like that. It's got to turn into a mixed number. There's going to be times when you will have mixed numbers and they're going to tell you to turn it into an improper fraction. So you have to know what your directions tell you. Do you see that I underlined them for you so that you understand? So here we have Carlos and his mom who went out on a bike ride. They rode 5/8 of a mile to the park and then 5/8 of a mile back home. How far did they ride in all? What's my question that I have to answer? What is the question I have to answer? Raise your hand, and David, nice and loud.
5/8 plus 5/8.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. What is the question we have to answer?
Okay.
Akaya, how far did they ride in all? And David is saying that the work we're going to do is 5/8 plus 5/8. I had several hands in the ear that wanted to tell us that. So I want you to work on this. I want to see what kind of answers you come up with. People at home while they're working, we may go on and do letter B as well, and then we'll come back and show you answers. Hi there, we're back. I think we have Monday brain or something. This is getting a little difficult. So what we were working on with our first problem, we thought about our eighths. We had to have 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. And 5/8. And if I'm thinking about distance, this is what we talked about before while you guys were working at home. We lined up all of our eighths. We discovered we have 2 extra. Since this is my whole unit, I know that I have one and 2/8. Oh, sorry, I pulled them out of the picture. 1 and 2/8 because this covers that. Okay, then we drew the next picture. We talked about that 4/4 makes a whole unit. So we counted on our fingers, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, plus another 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And if we line that up, it makes 6/4, which as a mixed number, which is what they tell us to do up here, is to put it in a mixed number form. They tell us right here, it comes out to 1. See, here's our 1 unit with 2/4, and some students said, or we could write down that it is 1 and 1/2. 1 and 1/2 what? 1 and 1/2 what? Tucker.
1 and 1/2.
Cups of what?
Cups of 2/4. I think he said.
Of juice.
Oh, I said 1.
Okay, there's a little bit of talking going on, but we have one student helping another right now. Okay, you can always draw pictures. So here we have 1 and 3/4. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. 1 and 3/4. Now we're changing our mixed numbers into fractions. So if I look at that, here's my 1.
So zoomed in.
Is it? Sorry, people.
No, I think it's like zoomed in. Yeah.
Oh, it is. That's weird. Let's see if we can fix this. I can't fix this because of the recording. I'd have to stop my recording. So
Okay. I can hold it.
we'll do that.
I can hold it.
Okay, so we're doing this. Sorry, I didn't know it got so zoomed in. So we have our whole unit of 1. See, whole unit of 1. And it tells us we have to find out how many fourths we need to work with. So it says we have to have 3/4. I'm probably putting my little green pieces off to the side, and I have to get my fourths, which are my yellow ones. So those of you at home can get these out, whatever size you chose to use. Those of you in here using your pieces, maybe you want to do that as well. Okay. This is our mixed number. The red one is our whole unit. It means 1. I believe I don't have a 1 that you can see on there.
No.
Now you can see it. So there's 1. 1 and 3/4. But it tells us we need to change our whole unit into fourths as well. How many fourths go in this one? How many fourths can I lay on this red strip? Anybody know? Yes.
4.
4 of them. Jacob told me I can put 4 of them. So this is 4/4. So 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, as you can see by the answer here. Our next one, letter A. It tells us again we need our whole unit, and then it says we need 3/8. Here's my 3/8. I am supposed to change my fraction. 1 and 3. Oh, there we go. Sorry. 1 and 3/8 into a fraction greater than 1. Since this is my whole unit, how many eighths go into this whole unit? If I was going to lay my green eighths on the top of that red whole unit, how many could I use? Got one person with a hand in the air. What'd you think, Grace?
8/8.
8/8. How many of you figured that out? And we're afraid to, yeah, there's a bunch of people afraid to say this. So there are 8/8 in this. Remember, we proved this last week. So if we're at 8/8, we have to keep counting on. 8/8 plus 1/8 is how much? 9/8, 10/8, 11/8. Oh my goodness, we really went backwards over our vacation. I don't think we're going to get to today's lesson. Okay, so we have 11/8.
This is today's lesson.
This is not today's lesson. This was a worksheet from last week. Okay, now it's telling us on our next one that we're on letter B. Who can pronounce that mixed number? Letter B, raise your hand. Who can pronounce it? Grace.
1 and 5/16.
1 and 5/16. I could pull my 16ths out if I want. They're the little bitty blue ones. And it tells me how many 16ths do I need? Anybody remember? Because it tells me I need a 1 and 5/16. Thank you for those of you who are listening. So here they are. How many 16ths go into a whole unit? Tucker. Thank you, Tucker. He says there's 16 of them in this whole unit. Remember when we folded and cut all of them? And it took forever. So if this is 1, it is also 16 16ths, and we're going to count on. After 16 16ths is 17 16ths.
18 16ths. 19 16ths. 20
21 16ths. So you would write 21 16ths. I bet you know how to write it though. 21 16ths. Sophia, you got that in your book? Ethan, you got it in your book?
Great.
I know that Jacob's being taken care of over there. The girls are making him work extra hard. He's going to be tired.
She's making me extra hard. Right here.
Jacob, you're not going to get away with anything on that table. Oh my goodness. It says
I bet he always wants somebody.
I have 2 whole units, but you guys don't. Here's my 2 whole units for my next one. 1, 2 and a half. Letter C is 2 1/2. It's in your books. 2. 1, 2, and 1/2. Okay, so if our unit we're working with is 1/2, how many 1/2s go into a whole unit, David?
2.
2. I have 2 whole units though. How do we do that one? Oh, Saphira's already showing me how many halves are in these 2 whole units. So is Luke showing me too. They're showing me with fingers so that they don't tell anybody else. How many halves are in this one, everybody? How many are in this one, everybody?
2.
Okay, so 2 and 2 is 4, plus another one is 5. How do I write that? Grace. Uh-oh.
As the numerator, and then the line, and then 2 as the denominator.
Okay, hold on a minute. You were talking to me. I don't know what's happening. There we go. It went away. Okay, tell me again, Grace, because I was dealing with.
5 is the numerator and 2 is the denominator.
She is telling me 5 is the numerator because we have 5 1/2 pieces. And it's telling us that they are the size of, each piece is broken into 2 pieces, each whole unit. So there we go. Who can pronounce our next fraction, letter D? David?
2 2/4.
2 and 2/4. We'll look at that. I still have my 2. And I have to get 2/4. This is our fraction. Like if it was licorice or something.
Licorice?
You guys can't have licorice. You left wrappers laying around. Remember what's going to happen if you leave Starburst wrappers laying around, because then those are leaving too. Can't leave a mess in the classroom. Our janitors don't have time for that. They've got more to do and more space to clean without any extra time to do it. So, looking at this. Okay, who wants to work on this with me? Because that's when you learn the fastest. You already know. Jacob, how many fourths go into this whole unit?
4.
Okay, so Jacob tells us there's 4 fourths here. Ethan, how many fourths go into this whole unit?
4.
4. Okay, so we have 4 fourths plus 4 fourths. Is that 8/8?
No. Maybe so. No.
It's still fourths. I didn't put any green ones out there. They're still yellow yet. So how do we add 4 fourths plus 4 fourths?
4 4 4 4.
I want you to think about that before we got 2 to do before we go to gym class. How do we do 4 fourths plus 4 fourths? Okay, because Phoenix wants to tell us. So Phoenix, you talk at your table. So you teach people or teach Trevor how to do that. Okay, David.
In all,
4 fourths plus 4 fourths equals what?
8/4.
8 fourths, because we didn't trade those out for eighths, did we? We're still working with fourths. Okay, so everybody's telling me that we have this many fourths already plus 2 more. And that is how much? 8 fourths plus 2 fourths. Grace has got her fingers in the air. Grace is telling us that we have 10 fourths. Okay, thank you. 10 fourths. Okay, now you're going to work on 1 and 7/8. 1 and 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 and 7/8. How much is that? Maybe while you guys are gone at gym, I can figure out how to not stop the video and shrink this down. And people at home, if you end up with a second video, it's because I had to stop the video so I could get to my control panel that's hidden underneath the Screencastify buttons. Okay. Who's brave Are you brave? Are you brave? Okay. But when I press hide on it, it doesn't come back up again. That's the problem with pressing hide. Okay. I've tried the whole hide thing. We ended up making 2 videos. Okay. Unless they fix that glitch. They may have. How many 8ths are in this red one? Adrian. How many 8ths are in our whole unit? 8 8ths. Thank you. So Adrian, you want to lead us in the counting? Say yes.
It's 8.
Okay, I didn't hear what he said because somebody else was talking louder than he was. So, I hope that was a yes. Okay, so Adrian, lead us in the counting. So we have 8/8, 9/8, 12/8, 15/8. I know this is a really long way to go about getting this kind of work done, but you need to really have an understanding of this. So if you page through what's coming, things just get more difficult. So we really have to know this before we can move on. Okay. Yeah, we still have this page to do yet. I don't think we're going to get to egg cartons today. So right now you're going to put your little pieces in your bags because you're not going to need them for this page. Put your little pieces in your bags.
Are we doing that page right now?
You're going to do that page when you get back from gym class. And like I said, I don't think we're even getting into our work.
We started to do that because we finished.
Okay.
Oh yeah, maybe that is it.
No, that just turns the lens. Everybody's trying to help. So nice. I'm going to minimize this. Okay, we'll see you in a little. Okay, so we are back. I think I've got the dot cam figured out. Here we are. Thank you, ma'am. Can you put it on the table? And I want to talk about how to do this page. I know that there is going to be some noise because I have one student specifically really intensely super over the top doing a wonderful job of helping another student. So there's going to be conversation. But now we're looking at this number line. I would like everybody to count with me on the number line. So touch each fraction and say it. 1/4.
1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3 1/4.
Okay, thank you. So you notice that this number line counted by halves and by fourths. How can it do that? How can it talk both by halves and 1/4? Grace?
Because 2/4 equal 1/2.
2/4 equal 1/2. So that's why we can count by both of those. So it gave us some things here to consider. And it says here, what improper fraction is equal to 2 1/4? So we can look at 2 1/4 and we can count by fourths. Are we ready? Okay, so 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4, 9/4. That's how they got 9/4. Now they asked you a different question. You're finding 2, you're finding 3. What's the number in between? 2 1/2. So you're going to continue to use your number line to answer these questions, and it is important to use the number line. Okay, those of you at home, I'm going to have you work on this. I am not certain if we will get to this and show you answers or not, but like I said, we never even got to today's lesson yet. So maybe it was a good review for you. Maybe you learned a lot. Okay, whatever it is, have a great day and make certain you finish page 87. Bye.